I'm actually going to bunch 3 books together. I read them all in relatively quick succession and found that they had remarkably similar premises. And one of them might just be the worst book I've ever read in my life. I'm going to start with the best of the 3. This is called The Night Weaver. The base theme is the same as all 3. It involves spiders, and those spiders are parasitic. They take over the human mind and body and turn them into sort of spider zombies. That is a remarkably specific premise that all 3 of these books happen to share. It's actually quite well written. It has some interesting characters, some exciting set pieces, the imagery is good. Where it lets itself down is that it plays its hand far too early. From pretty much chapter 1 or 2, you know everything you need to know. The next best one is called Hatched. Slight twist on the premise in that the spiders are invisible until you've been infected. It doesn't do anything drastically worse than the Night Weaver. What it does do is take so much bloody longer to do it. There are whole chapters that go without any furtherance of the plot, where we just learn about how someone stocks shelves, how to do a cash count on a register. There's a whole extended sequence on why 2 local school football teams have a rivalry, and it has no bearing on the plot, and it's not even an interesting story. This brings us to Red Insight. Some of you might have seen in my roundup for 2025, I consider this the worst book I've read this year. I'm going to expand on that. I think it's the worst book I've read in my life. So again, parasitic spiders turn people into zombies. The specific premise being that it's in a hospital and it is ground zero for the outbreak. That's an interesting premise. That's the only good thing I've got to say about this book. The most important thing in any story is the characters. And the characters in this book are awful, horrible people portrayed as heroes. There is a scene where they wander into a children's ward. By the way, this will have spoilers, but I don't care because, like, no one should read this book. They wander into a children's ward. The children have been infected with the spiders and their little spider zombie things. The first word uttered is, "Do what you have to do, they're already gone." Now, of course, there is a certain amount of logic in that, but there is absolutely no hesitation before this group of characters just start wailing on these kids. Like, weapons, skulls caved in, and there's not a single moment where any of them questions their conscience. It was at this moment that I briefly stopped to question whether or not this was a parody. If this is supposed to be comedy and I've just misread it, then I do apologise. There is a character who they all hate, whose name I cannot remember, nor do I care enough to go and check what it is. And as far as I can tell, the only reason that everyone hates her so much is that she has an OnlyFans. This woman dies an awful, awful death, and they